Good evening and good day to everybody. Moxx here, your hosting coach, and I am here to bring you another episode of Behind the Scenes. This is a podcast that talks about some of the things that you don't know that happens around events. Now, I am a professional host, and I just think, and I think that I am the best person to tell you these things. And today's topic will be about how to choose the best host for your event. Talking about my profession, we have a lot of things that we can present to a client, but how do you know which one would be the best for you? Now, there are different hosts in the industry. There are different hosts in the country and even out of the country. And it's really not hard to find a host. But the thing is, there's always the best one that can fit your event. Now, finding a good host is really tricky because of the different styles, the different price range, the rates of the different hosts, and the way they present themselves on social media may not always equate how they present themselves in person. Uh, the best that you can do is try to find a host from social media, basing it on YouTube, basing it on Google search, basing it on their Facebook pages. And I'll be honest, well, at least for myself, I cannot speak for everybody, all the other hosts. Of course, I will be presenting my best of the best wherever I post myself with. If I post myself on Instagram, of course, I'm gonna try to capture the best shot. If I'm gonna post something on Facebook, of course, it should look good. If I post something on YouTube, pretty much what I'm doing right now, I'm posting this on YouTube and try to make it a podcast and try to make it launch somewhere else. I will try to curate it and present myself the best possible way. So how do you know which one would be the best for you? All right, so let's get down to it. Number one thing that you have to watch out for, of course, what you are looking for is the hosting style. And I'm not gonna blame you if you get attracted to hosts that speak eloquently, because that's basically what you're looking for. You want the host to be the face and the voice of your event. Now, like I mentioned earlier, there are different styles. There are different types of hosts with different presentations of themselves, of ourselves. As for myself, when I present myself, or when people ask me, "What's your hosting style?" and I've been asked this a couple of times. Uh, Weirdly, I find it a bit weird to be asked this because it's like I'm applying for a job, right? And I honestly cannot escape the fact that, it's a job. It is a job. And hosting is pretty much a profession as anything else. The only difference is that, we don't get certified or we don't get licenses, at least not yet. So, how do you know which hosting style will best fit you? Now, if you ask me, in my honest opinion, the hosting style that you should be looking for is the one that will represent your type of event. There are different events happening all over the metro, all over the country, all over the world. Say, for example, the current issue with the Phil M stand-up comedian Joe Coy, right? Filipino pride has, he has graced and gone over the bar of successful Filipinos, and he's broke through the Hollywood scene with his stand-up comedy. But recently, he has had a lot of uh, negative comments and negative publicity, which happened because of his hosting stint in the Golden Globe Awards. Now, I'm not gonna talk about that, but I'm not gonna talk about the awards night that he did, but uh, to relate it to the topic that we are talking about, Joe Coy is basically not a host. He considers himself a stand-up comedian uh, with a lot of other skills. Being a stand-up comedian, you get a lot of other things going for you. You have the confidence to stand in front of a crowd, so that's basically public speaking. You can make people laugh because you're a comedian and that's your job, to make people laugh and entertain. And being able to perform through a scripted act. All right. Well, maybe not scripted, but it's a planned performance. I'm pretty sure most of the stand-up comedians do a lot of ad libs in their acts, but when they do their stand-up comedy, it's still generally public speaking, pretty much like hosting. That is probably why, among the others, among the other comedians that have been offered to host the Golden Globe Awards, Joe Coy was one of the choices. And, you know, on a side issue, he was not the first to be offered. And, given the time that he had to prepare, which was 10 days before the awards night itself, which is pretty short for a time to prepare for something as big as that. There are a lot of issues, a lot of factors that made him both successful and unsuccessful in that job. And I personally would say that he did a good job with it. It's just that he is not a host per se. He said it himself. And, I believe he even mentioned that that was his actual first actual hosting gig. And it was the Golden Globe Awards. Imagine the pressure. Imagine the anxiety you have to go through, and the things that would have been going through his mind while he's doing it. How did I get to this? How did I get myself into this? And I have to get myself out of this. Yeah, overall, I believe he did a pretty good job. It's just that, it's his first time hosting. He's not a host per se. So, yeah, that's what makes the job unique. Hosting is a tricky job. It's not for everybody. You can develop yourself as a host, but not everybody can do it. You can study hosting and you can practice, but again, it is not for everybody. Pretty much like everything else. You can play basketball all you want, but some people are just not gifted. Same with singing. Diba? Same with singing. Not everyone's gifted with a voice, no matter how much lessons you take, no matter how hard you practice. Sometimes it's just not for you. But anyway, going back to the topic, you have to watch for the hosting style of your choices. Now, how would you know which one is the best for you? You have to feel through it. I have this, I'm not gonna say ability, but I have this thing to myself that when I know it's for me, I know. Like when I'm trying to pick a puppy, for example. When you're trying to look for dogs, you don't just pick a dog. You have to pick a dog that, when you look at that dog, you can see the dog's soul. Something like that, you have to have instant connection. Pretty much like, when it's love at first sight, something like that. So when you finally find that particular host that you feel that you might have a connection with, you like their style, you like how they look and present themselves, you like how they speak. Um, it's basically going down to chemistry, right? Next thing that you have to consider is, how does this person or how does this professional treat you? You also have to have chemistry in terms of uh, the business side. If the host that you're talking to is not pleasant, and I hope not. I hope that doesn't happen, because being a host, you should be pleasant, but when you're up on stage, it's not always the same as when you're talking to the person. Sometimes when we perform, it's a different persona that's up there, and the real us might be something that you might not like, right? That's a possibility. I'm not saying that that all of the hosts have that. I'm just saying that it's a possibility. So check if you have chemistry. Of course, before you hire them, you need to meet them either personally or online. Uh, you have to watch their cues, their verbal cues, their body language. If they have the right intentions for you, right? It's like choosing a partner for life. You don't just choose someone based on their looks. You don't choose someone based on their history or their family background or their riches. Well, sadly, some do, but that's the truth of it. Sadly, some do, but if you base it all on those, the superficial facade that you see on the outside, it might not work for you in the long run. So, number one, if the hosting style is good for you, you find them eloquent, they have the qualities that you're looking for. Next is to check if you have chemistry. On the business side, you have to be able to talk to them, and if they're fair with you and you're fair with them, us hosts, I mean, you'll get along. And if you have a good relationship on the onset, you'll feel it, because any professional, any supplier, any service provider who doesn't have good customer service will not have a good relationship with you in the long run, right? Even salespeople. Now, salespeople might be a different animal, all in itself, because they need to go for the sale. No matter what they do, they need to go for the sale. So they have a different attitude towards it. But just like sales, we're also trying to sell ourselves. So when this happens, we try to be as appealing and amiable to our potential clients. I've had a lot of inquiries where they asked for an initial meeting before they actually decide um, to hire me as their host. Normally, I would say no to that, but if it means that they would like to get to know me and just to find if we have chemistry, then just by having a conversation with this person, you'll know when they are for you. Diba? Like I said, it's pretty much like finding a partner for life. If you feel that this person is for you, no matter what you do, no matter what you say, it's gonna fall in just as easy, just as naturally. So yeah, make sure you have chemistry with them. Next is, do they meet the budget? All right, this is the hardest part to talk about, simply because we're talking about money, and I'm one of those people that I don't really like talking about payment or asking for payment. It's awkward. It makes the relationship, I don't know how to say it, but it gives a sour taste in the mouth when you have a good relationship with your clients, and then all of a sudden you have to ask for payment. And sometimes the worst cases, the worst scenarios that I've been into is that, I've gone overtime and I need to ask for overtime pay, and I have to approach them and explain to them that, we went a little bit overtime. I try to manage the flow of the program, the speed of the program. I didn't lag behind, but we still went overtime. So would it be okay if I ask for another number, right? It doesn't feel good to be asking for money at all, but it's a business. I have to face the music. Some hosts, they have assistants or they have managers who do that for them. Lucky bastards. But going back to what I was trying to say, if they meet the budget and this is the person that you're looking for, then that's it. What else do you have to think about? What else do you have to ask for, right? Now, what about certain situations where, the host that you want is there, but he or she is just expensive. They're beyond what you can afford, but you really want to have this host because, they embody the vision that you have for your type of event. I'm not only talking about weddings, by the way. I'm talking about corporate events. I'm talking about lifestyle events, right? You don't just get a host just because they look good or they talk well. Yeah, you have to get someone that will embody the event, right? It's like you don't get a host that is not fit. All right, I'm gonna say it really as appropriate as I can. An unfit host, and when I say an unfit host, I mean health wise, shape, and you're gonna be doing a sports event. For example, a marathon or a fun run or combat sports, for example. You don't want this person to be talking to an audience who are enthusiasts, who have the same lifestyle as the event that you are promoting. Then you have someone who is not at all in line with that particular activity. Just think about that and let it sink in for a moment. So it's not always about the budget, right? It's about selecting the appropriate person. Now, going back to budget though, if the person that you want to hire is, beyond what you have or what you can give out, it's really up to you if you want to save up a little more just to acquire or hire that person. Because I know if you do, there will be no regrets. I mean, you're going to spend a little bit more, but at the end of the day, you got what you wanted. You have the dream. You're going to live the dream. For example, best example is Sam YG. Sam YG is one of the hottest hosts in the metro right now. We all know him from Boys Night Out. He's also been on Eat Bulaga. And, he's charming. He's funny. He speaks well because he came from Magic 89.9. He's a DJ. And, he has been entertaining us for years with their show. But, he is one of the top hosts in the country for a reason. And if he had a rate that is affordable to everybody, just imagine if everybody can afford someone like Sam YG, he would not be resting. And, the law of supply and demand, if there's a lot of demand, you can lower the supply. Or if there's a lot of demand, you can raise up the rate to balance it out, 'di ba? Same with Ari Neiman. Uh, Ari Neiman was a comedian. He started out as a stand-up comedian. He became an actor, joined Bubble Gang, uh, and he started hosting outside. Uh, I'm sorry, but I don't know his entire story. But as far as I know, that's how he started out, and later on, because of his charm, his wit, his appeal to the audience and the clients, he's handled a lot of corporate shows, uh, making more projects online, getting more likes and followers beyond just hosting. And now, uh, you know, same with Sam YG, he's one of the top hosts. If he doesn't increase his rate, he would be available to everybody and he would not be resting. All right. So, yeah. Now the question is, would you pay for more just to achieve your ideal event? That's the question. Now, the downside of this is that there's always going to be someone cheaper. And when I say cheaper, it's not the quality. It's just the rate. Some professional hosts are afraid to raise their rates in fear of losing the clientele that they currently have, because if you move up another level, the clientele also changes, and that's economics. You raise your rates, and your clientele changes because the people who will be hiring you are the only people that can afford you. Or if they can't afford you, they might need to add some more just to be able to, right? So yeah, if you're if the host that you're looking at is matching your vision, your ideas with their hosting style, you speak to them, you have chemistry, and they fit your budget, then that's pretty much it. Yeah, I think that's all the green light for you. Now, the final tip that I would like to discuss with you guys is you need to also find a host that makes the celebrant shine. All right? Beyond the 3 points that I just discussed with you, the hosting style, the chemistry, the budget, if the host that you get tries to perform for themselves and make a name for themselves, to make themselves feel good. I don't know what their motives are, but if this is their motivation, fame, money, and I'm hoping I'm not hitting any nerve with my colleagues, my peers, but for the sake of our clients, for the sake of you who is watching, make sure the host that you'll be hiring will make the event and the celebrant shine. Because my personal opinion, and this is mine alone, I never want to go beyond what the event is all about. I'm not hosting for my own fame. I appreciate if I get compliments for my hosting, and I would appreciate, or I feel good when people approach me, they take photos with me. Sometimes they get my number so that they can refer me to others. That of course makes me feel good, but I would rather hear from them that they enjoyed the event through my hosting style, right? If they remember the event, if they had a good experience from the event from my hosting, then that makes me feel a lot better. Because if the host is out to perform for himself and not the event, siya yung bida, siya yung magaling, you know, that's just arrogance. That's conceitedness. That's vanity. And I hope you guys don't get to get to hire a host like that. Just a disclaimer, I am not aiming this at anybody. I'm not particularly talking about anyone. This is in general. Okay. I have a lot of host friends. I do not have enemies who are also hosts. When it comes to hosting, as much as possible, I don't badmouth anybody in the hosting industry because this is my home. This is what I do, and this is where I live. You don't poop where you live unless it's in the bathroom, right? You know what I mean. You don't poop where you eat, right? So yeah, just make sure that the host makes your event or the celebrants shine. Yeah, because I'll be honest, I've also seen on Facebook and on television, even on television, I've seen a couple of hosts. They perform for themselves and they try to uh, carry their name throughout the event. And, again, I'm going to tell you that's not good. Um, as Going back to Johoy's issue, I'm sure he wasn't trying to make a name for himself when he accepted the when he accepted the when he accepted the Golden Globe Award gig. It was an opportunity for him, and he was really happy about it. And I'm happy for the guy because being a Filipino, someone finally has represented the Golden Globes, and being a Filipino, that's a flag that he's carrying. Unfortunately, the same people who said they were proud of him after the Golden Globes are also the same people who are bashing him. But anyway, like I said, that's not the issue. I'm just trying to compare it and relate it to the topic that we have. So yeah, to wrap up the topic, how do you choose the best host for your event? Just make sure that everything feels natural. You get to a meeting with this person. Don't base it on the photos. Don't base it just solely on the videos. Definitely don't base it on the rate. Those give you ideas. I am sure of that. Those are big factors that will give you ideas, deciding factors if you're gonna hire that person. But just make sure at the end of the day, you know that your event is safe with that person. All right. So yeah, if you have any other topics that you want to discuss, just send me a direct message. Maybe we can talk about it, and maybe I'll make an episode about that. Please do like my Facebook pages. I have www.facebook.com/yourinnervoiceph, no space, and my personal page, Moxx the host de Vera. Moxx has 2 X's, don't forget. And if you want to connect with me on TikTok and Instagram, it's Moxx de Vera. And if you also want to check these videos and the other videos that I've made, as well as some of the hosting gigs that I've done, it's on YouTube, www.youtube.com/Moxx de Vera. All right. So yeah, thank you very much for tuning in, and I hope you guys can catch the next episode. Once again, this is Moxx de Vera, and this is Behind the Scenes. Let's talk.